All right, Keegan. Angie had a problem with hers. We think we figured it out, so she's just checking hers now to see. I want to make sure you're both on the same place, and I figured out the error on mine too. So
Okay, I think I'm good.
okay, now if you remember, what I did was I went over to the customer screen here. All right, and where's the design? And double clicked on this. What I had in here was Form 1. Yeah, that's the name here, but that's not the name of it. The name actually of the form, of that form, is form, if you remember this when we created form SODB main screen. I would like you to, for all 5 of your forms that we just created, so the order form, the order details, the products, the customer, and the category, I'd like you to go to each one of those. Whoops, not that. And I'd like you to put in the code that I just showed you. And that's the code that's right here. Can you all see this? What I've got here? This one says button return to main form. Yes?
Yes.
You're going to have to put in this code in your button return to main form for each one of those subforms that we just created. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you go ahead and do that. And while you're doing it, I'll do the same thing, but I'm going to give you a second so you can copy that code down. Again, if you didn't name yours what I named mine, you're going to have to find out what your name was. But if you've been using the same naming constructs I have, it should work with no problem. And after you get done with that, you should be able to run the program, go from the main form to any subform, and then back again to the main form if you put this in all 5. Do you both have this code right here?
Yeah.
Angie, do you have this?
Yes.
All right, then I'm just going to go and put it into the other ones that I've got. So
All my stuff works.
great. That's what we're looking for. Okay, I've got that one done. I think I'm missing one on mine, but I don't know which one. So wait, that one's there. Well, let's run the program and I'll find out which one I've got missing. There's the customer I can return. There's the order I can return. There's the order detail I can return. There's the category I can return. And there's the product, and I can't return. So the product's the one I have not done. my run. All right, I'm gonna do a save all. I'm gonna try mine one last time. So we did that one.
Okay, mine works.
All right, so you are both able to go from here to each one of your forms here and then back again. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so then let's start talking about what we've got to do next. All right. What I'm planning on doing is working with you to do the insert customer. All right. After we get done with the insert customer, I'm going to turn you loose because, in my opinion, what you should do is when you get done with the insert customer, make a copy and call it update customer. Make a copy and call it delete customer. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. So the first thing to do is, and well, we have to remember for our customer form, all right, for our customer form, we have what properties? We've got the customer ID. We've got the customer first name. We've got the customer last name. We've got the customer street address. We've got the customer city. We've got the customer state. We've got the customer zip. We've got the customer area code, and we've got the customer phone number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is by far, in my humble opinion, going to be the hardest form because it's got the most pieces, so to speak, to it. Does that make sense to both of you?
Yes.
All right. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to come in here. I want to come in here and I want to basically, so I'm going to stop my run. All right. And I've got what? I want to come in here and I'm going to close stuff because I got a lot of stuff open right now. You may or may not, but it's just going to be easier for me to work just having the customer stuff open and my main form. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to close everything else. So there's the customer. There's my form, and don't need this, but I want my customer code as well. All right. So that's the only 4 things I have open. I'm going to have another one open when I create it in just a moment. All right. So when I go back, and I'm going to go back just for a second to my main form, and I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. What the heck does that mean? Well, if you remember, in our customers form up here, we did that query. It's way up on top here. And these were the names. And I'm just going to grab these right now just so I have them. You don't have to do this, but I'm grabbing everything just so I have the names. All right. All right. So now I've got those. Now, in my customer option here, when I click insert customer, what I will want to have happen, you've done this before, is I'll want the current form to close and I'll want the customer form to open. Does that make sense to both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and create a new form. All right. This is where I told you it's going to get snarky, whatever you want to call it. We have to make 15 of these. All right. Why? Because we have 5 tables and each table has 3 options. insert, update, delete. So we're going to have to make an insert customer, an update customer, a delete customer. Then we'll do an insert order, an update order, and a delete order, etc. So we'll do the first one, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the period. I'll be here if you run into problems, but just to create the rest. All right. And then what we'll do is hopefully you can get this done by Monday, and we'll start putting in the code. Does that make sense to both of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to come up here, and we can call this anything we want, but I'm going to right mouse click, and I'm going to choose add new item. We've been doing this how many times today? Form. And I'm going to call it just what it is. So I'm going to call it form insert order. I don't think I have one, but if I did and I clicked add, it'd give me an error message. So there it is. All right. So there's going to be my form. Now, I said I like all my forms to be the same size. And again, this is 816 by 740. So the first thing I'm going to do in my new form, well, I thought I had it up here. I don't know if I closed it or what, but in my new form, well, that's interesting. Let's see, I'll grab it from down here then. Because that's the one I just created. Of course, I misnamed it. I shouldn't have called it insert order. I should have called it insert customer. Sorry about that. So I'm going to do a rename. And I'm just going to say form insert customer. All right. So there's that. Says you're renaming, would you also like? Yes. All right. So now I have my form insert customer. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to come in and I'm going to change the size to 816, 740. All right. And then I'm going to change the color on it. I mentioned this to you before. What I did was I made the background color for all my insert forms green. You don't have to do that, but it's the way I did it. All right. And I made it that color green. Kind of look like a stoplight green. All right. Now, let's see. I'm going to put a single button in here for right now. I'm going to change this, of course, as we go on, but I want to view my toolbox. And I'm just going to throw a button in here. All right. Again, where it is doesn't matter because I'm going to end up moving it, probably changing the size. I don't care. But I'm going to call this button back to customer main form. I know that's a long name, but at least it's descriptive of what it's going to be. And I'm going to put in here back to customer main form. All right. Looks like I can make this text on here a little bit bigger. Let's try it at about 20. Bold. Arial. That's not bad. All right. So what I'm going to put into here, into this button, is I'm going to say, you've seen it before, hide current form. This dot hide, whoops, dot hide. Instantiate customer main form. And I don't remember what we call that. I guess that's probably form customer options, I would guess. I'm going to just steal this code. All right, so I'm going to say here, customer, oh, what did we call that? Oh, form, customer options. And I'll just call this customer form, it doesn't matter. Equals new, and put that here. All right. Can you both understand what I just did?
Yes.
Keenan, does it make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So now with this up here, okay, I'm going to go back to my customer options right here. And now for insert, I'm going to do the same thing. Hide the current form. This dot hide. And then what did we say here? I'm just going to steal code. It's my code. Create new instance of customer insert form. Oops. I think it's insert customer form. So this is form insert customer. All right, which means that's also the same. And I'm going to just call this insert customer form. Again, I realize that a lot of my names are long here, but I think that's actually a good thing because it's making the program more self-documenting. So let me do a file save here. Let me run this again. And now I should be able to go to my customer main form and to my insert form and back to my main form. You can already see I've got to move this. That's no big thing. Does everything I just did make sense to both of you?
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to put it back to custom, and that should say customer, but that's fine. You're going to want to put one of these in your update and in your delete also. All right, but if you just take, if you take this, I'm going to stop the run here. If you just take this form that we're about to create and you copy it, so you'll have form, insert customer, form, update customer, and form delete customer, you're good. Does that make sense? I mean, we could be jumping, we could put tons of buttons in here and jump from every one form to every other form. After a while, you get a headache because there's just way too much stuff that you're doing. All right, so I'm on here. The first thing I want to do is this should say back to customer main form. There, that's what I want to do there. Again, if I want to later, I can change this around. I can do whatever I want to do with it. All right, now I already mentioned to you the names of those fields. All right, we don't care about the customer ID field. I'm asking you this question. Why don't we care about the customer ID field? It's a real simple answer. Because it's an auto increment. It's already being handled for us. So all that we care about on here is to fill in those other 8 fields. And when we do this, we can have this look any way we want it to look. We literally can have this look any way we want it to look. What does that mean? That means I'm going to put first name here and last name here, address here, city, state, zip here, area code, and phone number. Does that make sense? So I'm building a form right now, but I've got control over how it's laid out. All right. I am going to come in here. You don't have to do this, but I like doing this. I am going to come in. I'm going to bring back my toolbox here and pin it. All right. first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a label. Just drag it out here. Now, and I'm just going to call it label title. All right. And for the code that's in here, I'm going to put in here customer insert form. All right. And that's pretty little. So I don't like that. So you've seen me do this before. You've done it before. I'm going to change the auto size on here. So it's not true, it's false. And I already changed the back color. All right. I don't really like that back color. So let's just make it real white. All right. If I don't like that later, I can always change it. But I'm going to bring this over here, about over to here, something like that. And I'm going to make this really big as far as its font size. Again, do I have to do this? Of course not. But it's going to make it so much easier, in my opinion, as I'm moving around from form to form to know exactly what form I'm in. So there's customer insert form. A little bigger. And I'm going to also take the text here and I'm going to align it to center. All right. And again, you don't like the way I did it, do it your own way. It's no big thing. But I'm going to come in here now and start to fill this stuff in. Okay. I'm going to, this right here, we called it label title. I am just going to Control C, Control V. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to knock it way down in size. All right. And this is going to say, in fact, I'm going to move it over almost all the way to the end. And this is, like I said, this is going to be a lot smaller. Don't worry about it right now. I'm going to change the name to label first name. And I'm going to change the text to first name. And I'm going to change the size so it's something I can work with. All right. I'm going to try, I don't know, I'm going to make it about 16 here. And if that's too little or too big, I'll change it right away. So it's there. Oh, 16. I'm going to make it bold. I like using Arial. You may not. That's not bad. So there's my first name. All right. And next to that, I know I've got my choice. Do I want to put the first name here and the last name here, or do I want to put them underneath? All right. You can see, I mean, these are all things that as a developer, I mean, it's your responsibility to kind of think of that stuff. All right. So let's see. This size of this one, again, because I kind of strive for some uniformity. So the size of that one was 13640. So I'm going to make this one. The size of this one, 13640. All right. And as you'd probably guess, this one is going to say last name. And the name of it is going to change to label last name. All right. Then, and I still might end up moving this around more. I don't know. I might move this out so it's almost all the way here. If you want to do that, do that. If you want to change the color of yours and make it white for the text or whatever, just do it. It's yours. All right. I want you to put your stamp on it. All right. Now, what I don't suggest is that you keep everything gray. This is something I'm hoping that you're going to want to put into your portfolio. All right. So it's not that it has to go nuts with color, but it should be something where it looks professional. All right. You may argue and say, well, yours doesn't. Okay. And if that's how you feel, then change yours so it looks professional in your own way. All right. So here is my first name, and I'm going to set the multi-line field on it to true. Drag it down. Then I'm going to copy and paste it. Oh, I thought I did, but I must not have. Copy, paste, and I'm going to put the last name here. So in my own way, as always, I'm being a little too anal about this, but you can see this. If it turns out that I've got a real long last name, I'm going to have to adjust this. I think that makes sense to all of to both of you. Control C, Control V. This is going to say label address. All right, and this is going to say address. All right, if I want to, I can take all of these and make them right justified. I can leave them center justified. It doesn't really matter. Another Control C, Control V. I'm going to drag that one out a ways, and that's going to be my address. So this is label title, label first name. This should be text box first name. This is label last name. This should be text box last name. This is label address, so this should be text box address. And I've already got 3 of my things put in here. All right. So next, this is just the way I'm going to do it. You don't have to do it this way, of course. You've got your choice. I could copy all of this. Oops. Oh, that was nice. So I could copy all of this and just call this right here city, state, zip and put it in as 1 field, or I can put it in as 3 fields. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But I'm just going to call this the label that's here. I'm going to call this label city, state, zip. And I'm going to put the code in there the same way. City, state, zip. Okay, it's pretty close. You can see it's butted right up against it. I can change that later. That's no big thing. I'm going to call the text box here text box, city, state, zip. All right. So tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to grab these, drag them out just a little bit there. So since I changed the size, $152.40, I'll change the size of this one also. You can see the problems that you run into. All right. So I've got that, and what's left? Area code and phone number. Again, it's up to me, but I will go and put those in right there. And I'm just going to call the whole thing phone number. So that'll be label phone number. All right. And I'll want to change the text, of course, to phone number. And it looks like I left off on here. I left off the colon. All right, so I've got that. It's already given me the 10-minute notice here, but let's see. Let's move this out a little bit more and move these out a little bit more. All right, I'm going to have to change that one, so I might as well do it right now. Hopefully you see exactly what I'm doing here. So this is 173. All right. that over a little bit, that over a little bit, and that over a little bit. Okay. Grab this, Control C, Control V. And this will be text box phone number. All right. I'm going to do one thing that right now may not make a lot of sense to you. And that is I'm going to grab every one of these fields that I've got in here, right there. I'm going to drag it down a bit to about right there. All right. And let me quickly explain to you why I did that. When we, not for our insert, this is cool for our insert. Everything here is cool. But when we copy this to update, we're going to want to put another field in here that's going to say either customer name or customer number so we can look it up. We'll get a drop-down list of all our customers. And the same thing for delete. So we're going to have another field in here for those, but for now, I'll just leave it the way it is. This is by no means perfect. All right. And you could, hammer on it all you'd want to hammer on it. That's fine. But for now, I'm just going to lock everything. So it is locked. All right. I'm going to run the program again. Okay. And go to my customer, go to my insert, and there it is. All right, so eventually I'll be able to come in here. I'm not worried right now. I can always go back at a later time because notice how small the text is. I can center it. I can change the size. I can do all that stuff. I can also jump back to that form. I can jump back to my main form. So hopefully what you're seeing in this is we have got the beginning, all right, of what we're going to have to do here. So what I would like you to do then, and what we'll do is we'll come in here. In fact, let me stop the run. All right. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab my form insert customer right here. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to say copy. And when you do it, I recommend that you copy it right here and put it, go up to your final project right there, right mouse click and choose paste. It'll put it in the right area. But now I've got a form insert customer copy. I want to immediately rename that to form update customer. And I don't need the copy anymore. All right, so I think I've got all that done. It'll jump down to the bottom. But when I bring that up, again, when that comes up, don't worry about it. But there it is. Nope, that's insert. So let's find the update. I want to make sure we find it. Yeah, I know it's going to give me those errors, but I'm not worried about that. Form update customer design. It should not have given me an error there. Update, update, update. Those were all changed. That's good. All right. It's telling me that there's an error here. And it's saying it's on line 31 right here. You can see all the stuff that's red. It's probably going to be that we have to change one thing, and I think everything else then will fall back just fine. But let's see. Well, I will have to take a look at this because just off the top of my head, it's giving me something that it doesn't like. It says form insert customer already finds a member called this with the same parameter type. Well, it shouldn't be giving me that error because this update, it should be totally fine to have a form update customer and a form insert customer that look the same. What I'm more concerned with right now, all right, is now I do have this. Again, I'll figure out what the problem is and I'll let you know. But What I'd like you to do is if you have the same problem I just did, fine. Then go back to your main form. All right. Go over here to order and create your order main form. That one's not as bad because it's only got 3 or 4 fields in it. Then go and do your order detail, which has got 3 or 4 fields in it. The category is the fun one because there's only 1 field in it. And product has about 4 or 5 fields in it. So what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to go in and at least create an insert for each one of these. Lay it out however you want to lay it out. All right? Does what I'm asking you to do make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I will right now. So if you say, yeah, it makes sense, but I don't want to, I want you to fix your problem first. What I will do when I get all done is I will send you what I've done. All right. In other words, I'll throw everything into 1 or more text files. All right. And show you that. I just wanted to check one last thing myself. Yeah, it's giving me all those errors, so it's not letting me run. I'm not sure why it's doing that because see, that's in the update customer file. That's why it shouldn't be any kind of problem because the other one is in the insert customer file. All right, but if I did something wrong, I'm going to spend the next few minutes trying to figure out what the problem was. So all I'd ask of you is if you want to start on this, do the next ones, but don't copy your insert to your update until I figure out what the problem is, and I'll let you know. That makes sense to both of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to do that right now. All right? So I'm not planning on having us reconvene till Monday, but please look for emails from me for the rest of the day after I figure out what this problem is. All right? So you can drop off. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you.